A quick walk around of my 79 C10 pickup. Start with the exterior. When I got this truck back in 2018, I bought it for a project I was doing on a book I was writing on building custom square body pickups. I got it from a guy who had been parking it outside, but I got the distinct impression after I took it apart that it had lived a long life indoors. And the reason I say that is because your standard areas on square bodies that rust were solid on this truck. So all over the top of the bed here, or at least over the top of the wheel wells, which is a typical rust spot, was nice and solid. Same thing down below. Backs of the fenders, places that are typical, you know, rust homes on these trucks were nice and solid here. I'll show you the rocker panel too. The grill on this truck is pretty cool. It's the factory grill. It's definitely had its share of use. It's got some chips and some dings and stuff, but it does have this pretty interesting hand whittled Chevy bow tie emblem that I don't know where it came from, but it was on it when I got it. I thought it was pretty neat, so I took it back off, sanded it down, stained it, and put it back on because I thought it was one of those things that you just don't see very often. You can see some of the weathering on these 79 and 80 only headlight buckets. These are factory style ones. They're metal. All the aftermarket ones are plastic. At least that's what I've found. The bumper is both front and rear bumpers are aftermarket pieces. The bumper guards are original units that I found out of Arizona that are in really nice shape. Again, all around the wheel wells, everything is nice and solid on this truck. Cab corners are good. Floors were good. And same thing back here around the top of the wheel well on the bed, around the back. There is a dent right here. And it does have its share of little scuffs and scrapes here and there. I think it's been a long time being used as a pickup. So this is pretty good idea of what you're looking at there. There's a couple more here, front of the bed. That's a good example. Behind the fuel door. You can see we added some patina to some of the panels, and that is not sanded through the paint. We added it over the top, and the reason we did that was because of the roof, which is original. I wanted it all to kind of evenly match as best I could. We had to replace the hood, or I should say the hood was an aftermarket unit when I got it. You know, they tend to bend in the middle, and the original one I think probably had done that. So this is an aftermarket hood which we painted to match. We painted the fender on the passenger side because it had been caved in. Driver's side is mostly stock, or mostly original I should say. We added the patina to the top, but I didn't paint it other than that. The driver's side door is an aftermarket piece. Again, the one that was on it was caved in. The bed in this truck is in really good shape. We'll start with the tailgate. It's nice and straight. The floor's got some dings in it and everything, and it does have some scratches, but overall, considering what trucks usually go through, I think this one had a pretty easy life. I think it probably was used as a fishing truck or something. It did have a capper on it at one point. You can see the holes from where it was originally are still here. And I didn't bother fixing them, I just left them the way they are. There's a pretty good scuff right here by the tail light, which I think must have been from a tie-down strap or something. But again, I left that stuff alone because it sort of has an even worn look to it. And that's kind of what I was going for when I was building this truck. The trim on this truck, side trim is aftermarket. Over the wheel wells, all that stuff is aftermarket. But the Cheyenne 10 emblems are stock, original. This beltline trim here around the back, didn't mess with that. Door handles are original. And you can see we added some patina here to try to make it look like it was all evenly worn. The interior was white. I swapped it all for black, so that includes the door panels, the seat cover, the carpet, the floor mats, the dash pad. That's a dash pad, not a cap. Black headliner, visors, all the plastics. It's got black seat belts that are retro belt units. You can see one of the things you'll see on these trucks pretty often is the factory seat belts would get shut in the door, and both sides have some marks in the door jamb from that. This truck originally had dual fuel tanks. I took this one out, and the reason I did that was because I wanted a place to mount the RideTech AirPod that runs the air suspension. And so I made a bracket that hangs that off the side of the frame where the fuel tank would have been on this side. And I did that because I didn't want to have an air system in the bed. I wanted to be able to have full use of the bed. This truck does have the RidePro X system in it, which includes ride height sensors, which is pretty neat. So you can set your ride height wherever you want it, and it will automatically go there regardless of the weight that's in the truck. So if you put a bunch of weight in the bed, start it up, it'll automatically go to ride height regardless of what we have in there. It's pretty neat. The mirrors on this truck are aftermarket units too. This truck originally had those big style stock mirrors on it. These ones are reproductions of the original base level mirrors, and I went ahead and added those because I liked them better. And when I did that, I also put in steel plates behind them so that they don't wiggle. They're nice and solid. Let's pop the hood.